First, well, we should still do a safety briefing, right? Let's actually start with the safety briefing.
Your safety is of the foremost importance to the MTA. Therefore, we ask that you listen and adhere to the following instructions. If you witness an emergency, notify emergency personnel in the room and call 911. Adhere to the following instructions. If you witness an emergency, notify emergency personnel in the room and call 911 immediately. Please follow any audible instructions provided through the public address system or visually on screens in the event of an emergency. If an alarm sounds, wait for a public address announcement and follow instructions. If told to go to another floor or to evacuate the building, leave all unessential items behind and use stairwell A just across the main hallway or stairwell B down the hallway past the elevators. If you have a mobility disability or cannot self-evacuate, please proceed to stairwell D or E for assistance by MTA staff or emergency personnel. An automated external defibrillator, AED, for use by trained personnel is in the main hallway just past the elevators. If you need assistance during an evacuation, please tell an MTA staff member or emergency personnel. Thank you and have a safe day.
Good morning. I would like to call to order the New York City Transit Committee meeting. We've done our safety announcements. Thank you. Let's move to our public speakers.
Good morning. We have 11 members of the public registered to speak today. As a reminder, we ask that all public speakers adhere to the MTA rules of conduct and decorum. I would also like to remind our public speakers that in the interest of time and fairness to all, we limit everyone to 2 minutes. Please be aware that there will be a warning beep to remind you that you have 30 seconds to conclude your remarks. Our first speaker today is Murray Bowden, followed by Christopher Grafe.
Yeah, but I can't see them. Good morning, everybody. I did a lot of preparation to come today and research and everything else, and then this weekend, everything changed. I don't know how many years I've been coming here and telling you this might be better and that might be better. Driving here today, for whatever reason, traffic was the least I've ever seen in 30 years. I got here quicker. Something changed. But what happened over the weekend was a message that overrides everything else. Don't just talk about it, fix it. I've been talking about better road lines that would make the buses go faster, better signs to inform people. You got markings there that are designed for the 1950s, not the 2025s. I've spoken about it how many times and nothing ever happened. Hey guys, it's up to you. I was just 92. I have some new doctors and they're doing things. I'm able to stand up here. I couldn't do that a year ago. If these people in charge aren't fixing it, get rid of them and bring in new people and get it fixed, the bus times will go better. People feel better. They're treating each other better. I'm being treated well everywhere I go, and I see my neighbors and everybody else the same. The responsibility is yours. Don't wait. If the rules are wrong, fix them. Safety counts. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Christopher Grafe, followed by David Cuperberg.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Christopher D. Grafe. First, I want to thank our NYPD chief and as well as our MTA police, which I already did earlier outside. I want to thank him because we had the first weekend of June, the Parade of Trains. First time of all the years that we had a good amount of officers there, and a lot of the kids were really happy because they were also on the Gateway trains, the really old, and they had a great time. So I do want to thank them very much because the safety of the kids love on those trains, and it was very crowded, but it was under control. And thank God we caught some people who are not supposed to be trying to sneak in surfing. So I do want to thank the NYPD and MTA police and whoever security we had. Thank you for that reason. And now I want to mention one very important thing. As we're celebrating Disability Pride Month, which I'm wearing mine, as you know, Disability Pride Month is celebrating its 10th year, ADA 35. So much accomplished for the 6 years. So much things we got done. We still got to get more things done. As I went to Albany in the beginning of the year, I still remind our elected officials today and continue in the future. Accessibility is the reason why. We have to work together to get every station, every bus, every Cessna ride, every railroad fully accessible. And I thank the transit stars who are there, always out there fixing, communicating, and I thank them so much. But there's one thing, Demetrius, I hope we can get one request from a lot of things, that we do see a lot of the reduced fare staff. I hope one day we can get them to be a transit star one day because they are out there switching the Metro cards to the Omni cards. And you and I were there, and I see a lot of things getting accomplished. We are making it easy for seniors and disabled. And I just hope we can still advocate to get the vehicle updated as well as getting more customer service centers. Thank you, everyone. Happy ADA 35.
Thank you. Our next speaker is David Cuperberg, followed by Cara Girl.
A good example of the MTA's vendetta against bus stops is in Central Queens along the Q18. From its southern terminus, the Q18 travels northbound on 65th Place, eastbound on 53rd Avenue, and northbound on 69th Street. There are currently bus stops in both directions on 53rd Avenue. If one looks at a map, the person wouldn't know that 53rd Avenue has a steep eastward rise. When I pointed out the rise during various outreach events, there were no replies. The silence was deafening. At the recent implementation outreach presentations for the Queens Bus Network redesign at the Queens Community Boards, some people commented that the new schedules be based on actual and projected field conditions, but no one from service scheduling attended the meetings. Their silence was deafening. At the joint committee meeting last month, I asked for the QM3 slated to be discontinued this Friday, June 27th, to serve downtown Manhattan, stopping at East 34th Street and 1st Avenue for a one-year probationary period. I waited for your reply. There was none. Your silence was deafening. Before the pandemic, all bus schedule changes listed a change in revenue seat miles for each bus route. The MTA refuses to release this information for the Queens Bus Network redesign. What is the MTA hiding? The public has the right to know. The SIM4X and SIM8X are underutilized because they each make only 2 stops within Staten Island. The SIM4X and SIM8X would work if they are extended to the south. And some, but not all, SIM48 and SIM8 weekday peak trips are cut back to the Staten Island Mall Park and Ride Lot. Such route changes would allow both routes to operate Super Express between the South Shore and Manhattan, decreasing passenger travel time. What do you think? I wait for your reply.
Our next speaker is Cara Girl, followed by Jason Anthony.
Good morning. I'm Cara Girl, Planning and Advocacy Manager at the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, PCAC. Earlier this month, PCAC launched a survey to hear from riders about the transition to Omni. We asked about their tapping habits, whether they've experienced any issues, and what features and integrations they want to see in the future. We found that riders want to make sure that Omni will give them the best fare option available without having to think about it or second guess that they'll be overcharged. We understand that Omni's backend had some issues last month, leading to charges showing up after they were made, and that those issues have been worked out. But riders should be able to immediately see, whether on the reader itself or on their devices, whether their transfer was honored, they've hit their fare cap, and how much they were charged. Riders also told us that they want Omni to be a chance for new and more features and functionality, like transfers to other modes like ferries and City Bike, without losing their favorite things about the Metro card, like the 30-day fare option. We know it's possible. London and other cities have done it, and we hope Cubic will work with the MTA to make it happen. More to come on our survey results soon, but if you haven't taken it, go to pcac.org/omnisurvey. We were also proud to rally with Council Speaker Adams, Writers Alliance, and the Community Service Society earlier this month in support of Fair Fares expansion. PCAC released a new report showing that over 415,000 New Yorkers in every council district of the city would benefit from expansion to 200% of the federal poverty level. Fair Fares is a vital lifeline for low-income New Yorkers to access transit, and we urge you to put pressure on the city to finally expand the program to include minimum wage workers before the budget is finalized. Lastly, we're looking forward to seeing the Queens Bus Network redesign begin implementation. We'll be out as ambassadors and continue to monitor feedback from riders as the changes take effect and hope to see bus speeds increase. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jason Anthony, followed by Omar Vera.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Anthony, the transit guru, on the Monday after his 39th birthday. This month, I want to talk about the bus route that I take 4 days a week to my workplace, the S40. That is located on the forgotten borough of Richmond County. As you guys see, I work at the Amazon Fulfillment Center, better known as JFK 8. I work there Wednesday to Saturday. I take the bus between 5 a.m. and 5:30, departing from St. George Terminal. At those times, I don't see any members of the Eagle team nor MTA police or NYPD, being aware that the 120th precinct is right across the street. After 10 hours of work, picking items from everybody that orders from Amazon.com, getting out at 5:45 in the afternoon. Strangely enough, this past Saturday, I had to get on a hot bus. And guess what, folks? Almost on a daily basis, I don't see no dispatchers, no MTA police, no MTA, no NYPD, no Eagle team. What people do? Get pushed. To make matters worse, 2 white vans charging passengers between $5 and $15.
Thank
what
you
we
for
gonna
your
do?
comment. Thank you. Our next speaker is Omar Vera, followed by Michael Ring.
Good morning, MTA Board's Transit and Bus Committee. Welcome to the June edition of your meeting. First, I want to talk about, like I said before, regarding the Queens Bus redesign. The modification was of the Q50 bus route. They did it earlier this year was, like I mentioned, it's off. We should be able to have direct Bronx to LaGuardia Airport bus service. And Q90 isn't going to cut it. Like, the original plan was much better. And I wish you would reconsider it and one day, like, implement it. Because at the very least, we need, like, as many necessary connections as possible. Like, Bronx has no direct LGA connection at the time. And so please consider this and modify the Q50 route so they can go to LaGuardia Airport in the near future. Either that or the BX41 SBS extension, or both. But we're waiting. I like to say, like I said, congestion pricing is working very well, and it has survived many of the tantrums of the Federal Transportation Secretary. But keep defying, keep strong. That's all I'm going to say. And lost my train of thought. Well, I'm just gonna finish this, and hopefully, because the R46 and the Staten Island Railway's R44s are facing retirement soon, as more R211s are doled out. I'm hoping that for the eventual farewell ride for both 70s era cars, you just have a farewell run with the original livery, like you did with the R42 and the R32.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you. Our next speaker is Michael Ring, followed by Jean Ryan.
Good morning. My name is Michael Ring. If anyone needs a verbal description of my appearance, I'm a 62-year-old white guy. I need a shave. I'm wearing a green shirt that says ADAPT, and today I'm representing Disabled in Action. Just an hour ago, we were outside reminding the public and everyone who works in this building that we'd like to settle the case about elevator maintenance. And while I was out there, I was thinking about what elevators really mean in the subway system. For many, many people, one step means you can't use the service of the subway. And if the step is there and the elevator is not working, or it's unreliable, or it's not even built yet, it means you can't ride the subway. And I was thinking, accessibility and disability are all on a spectrum. Because when I walked into this building, we're all here on the 20th floor. And something that was unremarkable happened. The elevator that the guests of this meeting usually use was out of order. But there was another one. There's redundancy. This building and this meeting wouldn't work without elevators because it's 20 stories in the air. I don't think anyone is going to walk up the steps to come to work every day. But you don't have to think about it. The elevators, there's many elevators, they work. If one isn't, there's another one. We need to settle this case so that there's some middle ground that we can talk about, so that there can be more elevators, we can count on them working. The system for telling people they're out of order isn't really working very well. 45 elevators are out today. People who can't walk up a step aren't running the subways. They're staying home, being unproductive people because they can't get to work. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jean Ryan, followed by Ian Matthews.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jean Ryan, President of Disabled in Action of Metropolitan New York, DIA for short. With the express buses, just because there's a lift there doesn't mean that the buses are accessible. And you say that your whole fleet is accessible, but it's not. Because anybody in a wheelchair should not have to worry if they're going to take the bus. Not that it's going to come. We know it's going to come. I never complain about that. I just don't know if I can get on or if I can get off. And if I can't get on, I can't ride. And so it's the least, it's great when I can get on, and off, but it's the least reliable form of transportation there is for a wheelchair user. And I don't want to have to be taken off by the fire department ever, but I have been. And I just never know if the bus drivers can move the seats, if they can get the door shut, the lift door. There are problems, constant problems with the lift doors. They have to slam them really hard many times to get it to know that the door is shut. The door is shut, but the sensors don't know that it's shut. And there's so many things in the process to move the seats and also to do the lift that even if you know, you forget. So almost every time I ride a bus, even the experienced bus drivers forget something. And it's just because it's so complicated and there's so many other things going on. So I think we need a different design of the bus, like I've been saying all year, and I hope we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ian Matthews, followed by Robert Whitaker.
Hi there. My name is Ian Matthews. I'm here to address my concerns with safety on the B and D line stations in the Bronx, which are really not safe. There are tons of drug dealers, people smoking cigarettes, and letting riders in for free through the emergency gate at almost every station on this line. And another reason why we're losing so much money. And nothing is done, and it really doesn't make me feel safe. Another thing, riders were screwed last weekend because you had the 4 skipping all stops between Burnside and 149. But where was the track work happening? Down at 170. Why didn't the trains just go from Burnside to 167? Because you screwed riders at 161, which is a major stop. Another thing, the track work needs to end at 3 o'clock. Why is it ending at 3:30? The 4 gets really crowded around 3:30. A lot of kids, workers leave from work at that time. And like, unless you're starting at 10:45, that's understandable to end at 3:30. But if it's starting at 9:45, it should end at 3 o'clock. If you need more time to do this, this should be done over the weekend. And you need to stop shutting down 170 so often, because that's the only accessible station on the line north of 125, because the elevators at both 161 and Fordham are out of service. So you should really stop shutting down 170 on the force every so often until this is fixed. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Robert Whitaker, followed by Charlton Dusa.
Good morning, President Critchlow, members of the Transit Committee. My name is Robert Whitaker, and I am a local 100 busser living and working out of Borough of Brooklyn. I am currently an injured worker recovering from surgery last week, spending years of battling your comp department and your third-party vendor, Corvell, which I believe was criminal and should be accountable. If you're injured on the job as a transit worker, your life will change, whether you're not going to get the proper pay or get the proper medical care. President Critchlow and members of the committee, I challenge you to go without pay or proper medical care to see how your employees feel or are subject to. Your workers' comp department with the bloated staff need to get it right and pay proper through Cedric and with differential. I challenge all those in your comp department to go without pay and differential and see how your employees are affected. You need to fire the incompetent case managers, case workers, and incompetent assistant directors like I've had to deal with. Transit employees do not wake up and go to work to get injured here, so they should be taken care of as they should be. President Critchlow, I challenge you to get this fixed so that someday here we can reach that 205 workday here so that employees can get injured and come back here. Mr. President Critchlow, I challenge you to come and speak to all your bus operators and all your injured workers here, because right now we feel abandoned by our employer. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Charlton Dusa, followed by Anna Humphrey.
Good morning, everyone. Charlton Dusa, President of Passengers United. So the Queens Bus redesign is set to take effect on Sunday, right? Why is it that the MTA has not listed the free transfer policy? Because a lot of people don't know about the additional transfers that you guys passed last month. But there is a problem that we have. We were told that the additional transfers are only valid for people who use buses and not subway. And I need this to be clarified today by the MTA board and by President Critchlow. I feel that people who use the Q82 and the Q110, who now have to get off at Parsons Archer to transfer to the J train, they should be entitled to an additional transfer. Same thing with other routes, and this is something that has to be worked out. Now, also, there should be announcements on buses. I've been making announcements on the buses and telling people what's going on, but there's no automated announcements. And really, the bus drivers also, if they can, should make an announcement. In terms of the F as in fish train and the M as in Mary train swapping, we feel it's a good thing. It needs to be done. However, the M train needs to have more cars running on the 63rd Street line. Really, they should. And during a service disruption, as we're seeing right now on the Queens Boulevard line, the M train should end at 21st Street Queensbridge if there's a problem on the Queens Boulevard line. So at least Roosevelt Island and Queensbridge customers don't get screwed. Otherwise, there's been a lot of signal failures on the ENF this week and last week, network communication issues. And I think the public has a right to know, why is it we have the new signal system and the trains are still breaking down? I mean, this makes no sense. It's aggravating. And also, people have asked me if you guys can reinstate and put back the Q82 bus
Thank you
stop
for your
with the Q2
comment.
bus stop. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Anna Humphrey, followed by Andy Pollock.
Good morning. My name is Anna Humphrey, and I'm the Transportation Community Organizer from the Center for Independence of the Disabled, New York, or Sydney. Today, I want to emphasize the need to expand the on-demand Access-a-Ride program. We constantly hear from riders with disabilities who do not have this program report feeling trapped by the current offerings by the standard Access-a-Ride program. The standard program often fails to meet their most basic needs when it comes to depending on reliable transportation. The current on-demand pilot has made a real difference for those lucky enough to have membership, but too many people are still left waiting for hours for pickups, stuck on circuitous routes, or missing appointments altogether. Expanding the program is about more than just convenience. It's about dignity and independence. It's about being able to attend work or school without always being late, a doctor's appointment without anxiety, or even visiting family without the fear of being stranded. It's about living life on your own terms. We know the demand is there. People with disabilities deserve to enjoy this city with the same ease when compared to people without disabilities. We urge the MTA to invest in increasing funding for this life-changing program to enable the opportunity for all eligible riders to benefit from the program. These eligible riders can experience the freedom and flexibility that this program can offer. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Andy Pollock, followed by Alita Dupri.
Good morning. This is Andy Pollock from Passengers United. So 2 things I'm going to bring up this morning. First up, regarding the Q45. I know I made a comment about it last month, but there was one thing I had forgot to mention regarding how, my bad, the Q74 route. The Q74 route, this is going to be a big game changer with it going from Horace Harding Expressway down to 164th Street, then going to Jewel Avenue. This is going to make a lot of time accessible for people who live in Fresh Meadows and in South Flushing to be able to access the Forest Hills 71st Avenue and subway station in Forest Hills. So we're very excited for this route to begin on Sunday, the 29th. It's going to be a huge game changer, and let's see how the community will react to the new bus route beginning on Sunday. And one last thing I want to quickly mention is the proposed schedule changes for the A and the L line, which was mentioned in the committee book. This is going to be a huge game changer if the MTA board approves it on Wednesday. It's going to improve the frequency of the A and the L lines, and especially how, if this is approved, it would begin in November, which generally in November, we obviously know it's a busy travel period, given that the holiday season is coming up. People want to go into the city to see the holiday sites. So let's hope that the MTA board will approve the new changes for the A and the L line, which again, that is expected to be approved hopefully on Wednesday. So thank you very much for letting me speak this morning.
Our last speaker is Alita Dupri.
Thank you. Good morning to the chair. Alita Dupri, for the record, she and her with Team Folds. I have some subway background for you. Kind of looks like BART, the People System. I broadcast to you from Oakland. There's a lot in this report. Electricity costs is a little on the high side, so we want to work on that. Try to buy more renewable energy if we can. And I am in favor of the subway schedule changes for the A and the L, of which I use those lines fairly often, and not just in Manhattan, but I use the A line to get to visit friends at the JFK airport, and that's during midday. So I think this is going to work. I remember the days of the JFK Express. That was very hard to dispatch on the A line shared with 8 trains. So the A does a good job getting me to and from the airport, even with the extra stops. I think back to my time in New York and seeing the elevators. I really appreciate your elevator outreach. You have said continually in your outreach that elevators are for everyone. I appreciate that in welcoming diverse communities to use all of our systems. I admit I haven't used I did use an elevator once at 190th to go to the cloisters. And it worked and it was clean, it was just fine. So I can't say I've ever had any issues. But I do think a lot about the new MTA. Well, that idea is spreading because when I go to BART meetings, they're talking about the new BART. So I appreciate the work you're doing. Yes, I'm in Oakland right now, but I hope to be back in New York soon. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment session.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Thank you, everyone. I will now make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 2025 meeting. Andrew? I know, same. You want to use mine?
I'll just say it loud enough. On page 57, on the first paragraph, it says Parsons and Archers Avenue instead of Archer Avenue.
Great, okay. So, I'm sorry? I know there's only 3 of us, so we can't do anything. We will amend the minutes, and we will hold until we have quorum to move the minutes. Okay. Demetrius, can you please start us off with the President's report? Oh, wait a minute, before that, are there any changes to the work plan? Any changes to the work plan? No changes, all right. Let's go to the President's report.
Thank you, Ada. So a lot to talk about today. Really excited about where we are in the span of time right now. It's pretty exciting to be doing all of the many things that we're doing here at New York City Transit, delivering once in a generation, once in a lifetime changes. When we sit back and just think about how much this organization has changed in the last 6 months to a year, it just makes me really excited and proud to be where we are right now. So we'll start off by talking about Queens. The Queens Bus Network redesign has been one of our top priorities. It has been an opportunity that has been waiting and needed for so long. We spent 6 years just building up to this. To get this right, we made sure that we engaged the community, talked to folks out in the field, over 250 events, and collected nearly 20,000 public comments. This month, I had the opportunity to get out there and talk to some of the folks meet some of the people that were working on the project from operations planning, Department of Buses, government and community relations, and so many others. And I want to just take a second to say thank you to all of the teams across transit, across the MTA who have had a hand in making sure this is going to kick off properly. This is it's a project that makes you very proud to be a part of. And it's going to improve service for most of the bus-dependent borough in the city. Queens has been in need of it for so long, and glad to have the folks at the front line who have put their effort in to make sure that it gets delivered. Now the real work begins. On June 29th, next Sunday, we are launching phase 1 of the redesign. Our team and our partners at New York City DOT have been hard at work making sure that the material, like what you see right in front of the screen, have been up in the system. We've updated guide rides, posters, and screens. We've also launched a customer ambassador program, so members of our staff are out in the streets of Queens right now making sure customers know about this new network redesign. We want to make sure that people are engaged. There aren't concerns or questions about what buses are going to go where, what changes there are. So even in advance of the bus redesign, we're out there talking to customers and getting them involved. What you'll also see is one of the customer ambassadorships at Jamaica last week. It just so happened at the same time that we were out there, DOT bus stop management team was switching the signs out, and we happened to be standing there talking to some of the local media and reporters in the area. So there is an excitement, there is a buzz in the area just about this, and the folks are really excited to be doing this. At the end of the day, this plan is going to provide more reliable service, faster travel times, better connections, and simplified service for our riders. I have no doubt, fully confident that the team will deliver. And if you work at the MTA, as a shameless plug, please consider signing up for a customer ambassador tour, or 4 or 5. And we'd love to have you out there talking to customers. This month also marked our move to the new Jamaica Bus Terminal on 168th Street in Queens. I visited the old and the new terminal locations during the last week of May, and the new facility is pretty fantastic. At the old terminal, I saw as buses were being flagged in reverse, backing onto the street, backing onto the sidewalk and into the street. And whew, it was something. So this new terminal is state-of-the-art. It's pretty fantastic. We brought in materials from across the world to make sure that we were delivering a high-quality product for Queens bus riders. It's been great getting the support in the neighborhood. NYPD has been really fantastic over there in the location. What you'll see in the photo here on the left, you'll see New York City Transit COO Bernard Jackson, along with Senior Vice President of Buses Chris Pangilinan. And we were joined by staff from Department of Buses, GCR. They were joined by Queens Borough President Donovan Richards and staff from other local elected officials to tour the facility, make sure the public understood the benefits of the new facility. They were big supporters in our Queens Bus Network redesign, and so having this terminal being able to deliver service was really big for them, and we're appreciative that they were able to join us there. We also had a ribbon cutting for the new swing room. I was proud to be there with staff, supervisors, and friends from our labor. We really have been employing this tactic to make sure that we're involving folks who are going to be impacted firsthand. So talking with the union firsthand, getting their comments about things that they would like to see in a new swing room, talking with employees to find out what they would like to see in the new swing room, and then incorporating that in our decisions. It was a really big part of the success. And so to see folks that were standing in the same location really happy with the end product was really excited. This project required a huge effort from teams across MTA, real estate, buses, and government and community relations. It's a known thing that when we work together, we can tackle some pretty large issues, and as a result, everyone wins. This facility is going to improve both safety and service for both our Queens bus riders and a huge improvement for our employees. In May, we launched the automatic camera enforcement system on 5 new routes: the M2, the M4, the M42, the M100, and the BX5. The map here on the screen is showing you all of the ACE-enabled routes across the city. The green lines are the routes we've turned on in 2025. You can see that this program is running across all 5 boroughs, and we are, without question, not done yet. We're hopeful to be launching more routes in the coming months, and we'll have updates about those routes soon. ACE cameras keep the streets clear, and they speed up our bus trips for hundreds of thousands of riders. The camera enforcement has sped up buses and enabled routes by an average of 5%, with some corridors seeing much larger gains of up to 30%. So the speed is up, the buses are moving and it is definitely tied to the expansion of this ACE program. We've also seen data that shows that ACE-enabled routes have seen a reduction in collisions and a reduction in emissions. We're without question grateful for the strong partnership that we've had with this New York City DOT on this program. I had the pleasure of speaking with the DOT Commissioner, Eudanis Rodriguez, in advance about this recently, and it was really great to hear that we share the same vision for improving the bus movement in our city, the value that our system adds, and when our buses are moving smoothly, how that value is transferred to our customers. Bottom line, if you're driving on the street in New York, don't block the bus. Okay, this one is personal to me. Life is not a video game. There is no reset button. When someone takes the unbelievable risk of riding outside the subway car, they're putting themselves and others in danger. Earlier this month, we announced a new campaign in our efforts against this dangerous practice. I was proud to stand with partners who have taken this cause so seriously. I want to thank the Department of Youth and Community Development and New York City Public Schools and NYPD for their constant commitment to keeping young people in our city safe. We stood in the shadow of the 7 train where I used to be a line manager, and I've seen firsthand children taking these dangerous risks to their lives, and I just honestly I couldn't imagine being a father of 3 children. My youngest 13. I can't imagine ever seeing her standing on the top of a train as it's barreling towards an overpass. Just the thought of it is frightening. So we are doing everything that we can to tackle this problem from every angle. The work that we've done already on the riding side and Stay Alive includes the voice of youths, and it has been paying dividends. When young people hear these messages from their peers on the platforms that they use, it's far more likely to reach them. It touches them personally because it is someone that they know, someone that they hear, someone that sounds like them, looks like them, and has the same frailty in their system, just like them. For this new campaign, we teamed up with BMX star Nigel Sylvester and students from NYC public schools. Nigel and students recorded new messages that are playing out in the system right now, and a new comic book art that is on the digital screens across the system, reaching students in a manner that hopefully grabs their attention. If you haven't seen it, it is pretty amazing. I have to give a huge shout out to Shanifa and Riera for really thinking through how to reach young people. It is the art that's used in this piece is, when I showed it to my family, the kids, it resonated with them because it was more in their language. And so huge shout out to Shanifa and team for learning the language and speaking in a language that the youth can hear. Also want to thank Nigel Sylvester, who's serving as this campaign's ambassador and is also serving as a positive role model for young people. It's not every day you have the chance to change the subway map, right? I mean, it's been that way for a very long time, and now we're doing it twice in 1 year. Everyone's familiar with the new maps that we have in our stations. If you haven't seen it, you haven't been taking the subway, you need to get out more. But now we're proposing a historic service change on the map as well. We're calling it the F&M swap. From 36th Street, we'll be sending the M local to 21st Street, Queensbridge, Roosevelt Island, and Lexington Avenue via the 63rd Street. From Jackson Heights, the F will remain on the express track to Queens Plaza, Court Square, and Lex 53rd. This change will provide operational improvement through route simplification. This configuration eliminates the shared track segments between the E and M. The E will share track with 2 lines instead of 3. The M will share track with 3 lines instead of 4. This will reduce delay risk to the entirety of the E, F, M, and R lines along the Queens Boulevard corridor. So what's the benefit that customers themselves will see? This change will increase reliability and reduce delays. It will result in a net travel time savings with 2.5 times more customers benefiting from shorter travel times than seeing longer routes or longer trips. It will reduce crowding for riders at 63rd Street stations. It will capitalize on never-before-used direct connections between 63rd Street line and Queens Boulevard local stations. You'll be hearing more about this proposal throughout the year, so stay tuned. When we talk about a commitment to safety and service, this is a huge improvement to service, something that had been discussed for many years, and just a real kudos to the team for pushing and pushing to be able to deliver better service to our customers. And with that, we'll turn over to subways.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank and congratulate the Subways team on achieving a significant milestone in May. Weekday on-time performance reached 85.2%, which was the highest level in the modern era of record-keeping outside of COVID. Customer journey time performance reached 86.1%, which was the highest for that metric since it was first calculated in 2015. These results show that we're making meaningful progress in improving service for our customers. I've always said that everyone in Subways is responsible for delivering service to our customers, whether they're directly operating trains, managing service, helping customers in stations, maintaining and inspecting equipment and cars, or providing service from an office. So everyone gets credit for achieving these milestones. To help thank everyone, I'll be out there on July 3rd along with my leadership team for a Subways Appreciation Day. We'll be out in crew rooms, out at the shops and yards and barns thanking people, encouraging them to keep up the good work. This is a milestone that we've been looking forward to for a long time. 85% was a big threshold. I'm confident in the team that we have in Subways, and I look forward to continuing to deliver on this service and seeing the next milestone we can deliver. Thank you.
Andrew has a question. It's working.
Okay. Hopefully it's working. I think the FM swap is a great thing, and I look forward to that. However, as we all know, the M doesn't serve Queens Boulevard on weekends, so I hope we're going to have clear indication on the new maps that this is a weekday-only map, this is a weekend. Hopefully we'll be moving. I was told we're moving towards real-time maps on the screens, which will make everything great for everyone, because you want to know what's running when you look, not, 12 or 15 hours later. So we're going to make sure that it's clear that this is a weekday-only change, correct?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right, Andrew. One of the things that we've continually tried to do is involve the public with how we should be letting them know, how we should be engaging them. So this is not going to take place until later in the year. We're starting the messaging now so that folks know that it's coming. We want their feedback in advance when we first roll it out, so it is important for us to get that message out in advance. But you're absolutely right. If we're not serving customers in the way that we should be, it's our fault. And there's an opportunity, and we still have time to be able to engage customers.
Majority.
Thank you. So for Subways, the A and L service, you also discussed today, right? Okay. Oh, not yet. Okay, then I'll have a question then.
All right. We're waiting for Chris to do buses.
Hi.
Oh, Sunil. Okay.
Good morning, President Demetrius, members of the committee, and New York City Transit leadership. It's my honor to present on behalf of Chris Penglinen the bus performance report. Overall bus performance remained stable in the month of May, with modest improvements compared to May of last year. We did experience a slight decline in performance when compared to April 2025 due to seasonal increase in unscheduled operator absences and slower bus speeds. Specifically with respect to service delivered, we were at 95.2%, which is on par with May of 2024, but decreased by 1 percentage point from April of 2025. Customer journey time performance was at 69.5% this month, a 1.1% increase from May of last year, and a 3.3% decrease from April of 2025. Average bus speeds at 8 miles per hour improved by 1.3% over year, and was down 1.2% from the month of April 2025. These changes align with seasonal trends and are being monitored very closely by our road operations and our maintenance teams to make sure that we commit to excellent service as we go forward. That's the May performance metrics. I also want to mention that as President Demetrius mentioned about the Queens bus network redesign, buses is completely committed to make this a success. We've had almost daily meetings trying to make sure that every part of service, maintenance, management is on track to deliver this. In fact, we have customer ambassadors, as President Demetrius was saying, at over 140 bus stops, actively managing and disseminating information out to our customers on a daily basis. So we're working as hard as we can to make this 100% success. That brings me to the end of the bus's May performance report.
Thank you. Midori has a question.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Demetrius. So quickly on the A&L service, because I understand there might not be a presentation on it today. So traction power upgrades, my understanding is made some of the increases in L-line service possible. Are there other similarities that New York City Transit will be eyeing to leverage upcoming projects within like the next capital plan? And if you all need to get back to me, that's fine. But I'm just curious, like I love the continuous improvement kind of method that you're all seeking and pushing, and so would love to know, since traction power played a role here, what kind of upgrades can be made in other lines. So moving to buses, what are learnings that you've had from the Bronx bus redesign that you'll transfer to the Queens bus redesign?
So I think the main learnings is a better rebalancing of bus stops, making sure that we get the word out early using multiple channels, making sure that our digital outreach forms of communication, mainly the bus time website, the MTA app, is completely updated with the latest information with respect to changes in the bus stops, reroutes of existing routes, and additions of new routes. All of that has been quality checked, so making sure all of the information is right at the fingertips, in addition to our customer ambassadors being out there in person over the course of July, over the first half of July, actively working with the people. I think that's the main bits that we have changed as part of our redesign.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I only have one more question. You know, you've noted with automated speed enforcement, the improvements. I saw, one anecdote in the book here, which is great. Can we get a list as board members of most improved bus routes regarding the speeds? Because, people do ask questions about, hey, this new automated enforcement, what's the benefit here? And it'd be great to be able to rattle off, if I'm in Brooklyn, like look at all of these routes that have gotten better. As we're all out in the community, board members should be touting the success, and we know that sometimes there's concern about change. And so if we can get that list, that would really help us out. Thank you.
Absolutely, will do.
Great, thank you. Next, we hear from Rachel in Paratransit.
Good morning. Paratransit had a very busy month of May. We continue to set ridership records and see increase in customer use of the service. We had nearly 940,000 completed trips in the month of May, serving over 1.3 million riders. Similar to the update Sunil provided, on the paratransit side, we did see a slight decrease, particularly in on-time performance in the 20-minute window in the month of May. However, we continue to achieve and exceed our key performance indicator goals. And we're keeping a close eye to ensure that this is a seasonal trend consistent with what we've seen in years past and not indicative of a larger concern. But we will be continuing to monitor the ridership in particular very closely to ensure we can provide service as our ridership continues to grow. And we'll be back on Wednesday at the board to provide some more details on what's going on with paratransit service and growth. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Rachel. We're now going to move on to ridership, and Bernard. Morning, Bernard.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Board Directors, President Critchlow. I got more good news to pile on you here, so. May has marked a new record for performance and ridership. Subway has hit a new monthly post-COVID high with a weekday average of 4,192,819 daily weekday riders. On May 1st, we registered 4.4 million paid rides, which stands as the highest day in 2025, until we broke that mark on June 4th with 4.45 million daily riders. Those days trail only a single Christmas shopping day as our post-pandemic highs. On the bus side, our growth was due to improved fare compliance and ridership growth. Bus registered an average weekday paid ridership total of 1.475 million weekday riders, which represents a 13% improvement from May of last year. This month, we are circulating 2 staff summaries with some minor service changes that we believe will improve service for our riders. First, we are reallocating resources on Staten Island. You will see the details in the staff summary report, but in essence, we are discontinuing the SIM, the SIM 4X, and the SIM 8X. These routes are duplicate routes. Customers will continue to be served by the local service on the SIM 4 and the SIM 8 route. This will free up resources throughout Staten Island. Second, on the subway side, which was also mentioned during the public comments section, and one of our board members just alluded to it, is that we are adding service on the A and the L line. The A line just went through a transformative upgrade in the Rockaways, and now we are providing more trips along that route, which will also result in more even service throughout the day. On the L line, which is CBTC, computer-based train control enabled, and offers some of our best on-time performance, we are able to add additional trips to boost service at the times of the day that have seen significant post-pandemic ridership growth. Altogether, when you take this under consideration, these changes will make service better, more reliable, and more efficient for transit riders. I am excited to see where ridership is next year after we continue to implement these positive changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. Demetrius is going to just prep us on the upcoming heat wave, or the heat wave we're in now.
So, you know, Bernard talked on a couple of things that were really important. You know, just kind of going back to Midori's comments earlier, this team is really committed to providing better service and, you know, getting new substations, which one just came on, which has allowed us to do this work. Adding locations with CBTC, communications-based train control, allows us the ability to be able to add service, and in the instances where we can do so, adding trips without adding additional cost because you're utilizing the existing crews and the existing fleet, it is a win-win for everyone. So we're looking for opportunities to do that, but the same thing is being incorporated on the bus side of the house, where we're seeing these huge changes in our schedule because of you know, where we've congestion pricing, congestion relief zones being set up. It's improved our transportation, improved the speeds in the city, and so it is without question allowing us opportunities to be able to change some of our schedules for the next pick, and we're incorporating better and more improved service for the next pick. But with that, there's a couple things that were mentioned earlier that I just want to circle back to. One of them was involving the heat. There was no scenario where we would like or would be in favor of what was experienced by one of our public comments today, where we have a piece of equipment, whether it's a bus or a train, without air conditioning. And so just to give you an idea, we are keenly aware of the uncomfortability to our customers, and we are, without question, taking action to make sure that we address it properly. To reduce the potential impacts to service and reduce response times for heat-related events, New York City Transit implemented a number of different things to make sure that the first thing is heat patrols, to proactively increase track inspections and make sure that if there are defects that are created, the heat can sometimes create heat kinks in the rails. And so having teams out there, having teams that are out there specifically looking for those types of defect to minimize the delay to our customers when we do our work. So inspections are important. Next thing is staging personnel and adding extra personnel to be able to respond in the event of an emergency. We're looking at key areas where we know the risk is there, locations where we have most of our merges, so staging personnel there. Key risk areas including power substations, machine rooms, generators, cables, connections. The team is fully engaged. Now, to ensure that air conditioning is functioning, both subway rail cars and buses, they're inspecting all of the trains and cars before they're placed in service. If a train or a bus is not functioning, does not have functioning air conditioning, it is not going in service, it doesn't mean that a condition doesn't occur while a piece of equipment is en route. And in that case, we're taking it out of service to get the right service that it needs. But it will not be placed in service without being inspected and ensured that the air conditioning is functioning. All equipment, whether in yards, shops, depots, stations, office buildings, are being checked consistently to ensure that we're functioning. It's important to not just protect our customers, but to protect our employees, as they're the ones that are going to be providing this great service that we've been doing all along. Paratransit service providers are reminded that vehicles must have functioning air conditioning as well. Buses and operators will be on standby for any support needed with subways in the event there are emergency conditions. New York City Transit also completes a continuous welded rail watch when rail temperatures show signs of rapid increase, as to protect against what we talked about earlier, the rail heat kinks. Safety advisories were issued across all various departments and divisions highlighting heat stress symptoms, actions, preventative measures, what to do in the event an employee, your partner, your friend is showing symptoms of heat stress. We are ensuring our employees, particularly those on the front line, have additional water resources as needed, and we're performing AC checks at all of our employee facilities. And there's just one other thing that I would be remiss if I didn't mention. It's always a topic that is important to everyone. Our work on the elevator and escalator has been phenomenal. I always like to give kudos to the team for their work. One of the individuals that we're going to be talking about in just a short minute is part of that team. But New York City Transit, the MTA, is committed to providing a fully accessible system, right? Buses, subway, paratransit, we are committed to accessibility. That's why there are 33 elevators right now in capital rehabilitation. So when folks say that there are 40 elevators out, 33 of those 40 are out to be able to provide better service for our customers. That's the reality. So when we talk about how many elevators are currently out, total outages right now, out of the 360 elevators, there are 6 outages. So I'm proud to be able to talk about New York City Transit's service, the availability, the reliability, that they've been providing availability system-wide for both New York City Transit elevators and for contractors, the privately owned, is 97.5%. The ones that we own are at 98.2%. We are without question committed to accessibility. With that, I will go back to slide 11. All right. New York City Transit is full of employees who come in day after day and deliver world-class service to the city of New York. Every quarter, we like to acknowledge key members of our team who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to deliver for New Yorkers. This is an exciting time. Haida loves this day.
I love it.
Just want to say it. She
You're
loves it.
photographing,
She
right?
loves it.
Okay, good. Thank you.
We have elevator and escalator apprentice Adam Brahimi. He demonstrated extraordinary vigilance and quick thinking when he sprang into action to halt an escalator and assist an elderly passenger in distress, preventing further harm to riders. His decisive response, professionalism, and commitment to safety exemplify the highest standards of service, making him a true asset to the team. Thank you, Adam. Line supervisor, Angelo Forte. Where you at, Angelo? Angelo Forte. He's been a driving force at New York City Transit for over 25 years, skillfully navigating the constraints to optimize maintenance manpower and ensure efficient, high-quality operations. His hands-on leadership, deep expertise, and unwavering commitment to both his team and the transit system make him an invaluable asset whose contributions continue to shape success. Thank you, Angelo, for everything you do. Just a quick point. You know, we have such amazing employees here. There's so many of them in so many parts of the organization that it's actually hard to acknowledge them all, right? You know, when something goes wrong, it's easy to identify who's responsible for that going wrong. But when you have people who lead the charge, the employees come to them for leadership, customers come to them because they like their smiling face. You know, when the team needs any question, they have questions, they want to go to somebody, they go to the same individual. Those are the individuals that are here, and Angelo Forte is without question one of them. So grateful to have him, and that is only second to the second man, Robert Rinker. Completely different area. But Robert has spent 22 years mastering the intricacies of bus maintenance while mentoring the next generation of mechanics, ensuring that lasting repairs and highly skilled workforce is taken care of. His hands-on leadership, deep expertise, and dedication to teamwork make him an invaluable asset to the maintenance division and a driving force behind its continued support. I've only been at Transit for a short period of time, and this man's name, it resonates throughout the group because he's trained and touched so many people. So thank you so much for what you do. Superintendent John Coughlin. John Coughlin has been instrumental in managing a complex fleet transitions and ensuring that paratransit operations remain seamless despite soaring ridership gains. We talked about it before. This system continues to grow, and yet they continue to deliver. That is not an accident. It is the work of folks like John Coughlin that continue to deliver for our customers. His leadership, logistical expertise, and commitment to safety have played a vital role in maintaining reliable service and upholding operational excellence. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate what you do. Bill Matheson. Where's Bill? There's Bill. Bill Matheson is a force within service delivery. Service delivery is all about your train crews and conductors and tower operators, the folks that are front line. What you don't normally see is the folks who are working with the maintenance team to make sure that they provide them with a location that is clean, it's clean, maintained, is well lit, has chairs. You know what it's like to make sure that there are chairs functional for 20,000 employees? How many people have done that in the past? And when you talk about an individual that oversees work like that, It's Bill Matheson. He is without question personally, he's charged personally with making sure that folks are getting what they need. He goes above and beyond. Seen him here on his days off, on his vacation. He comes and he makes sure that he's delivered. He's dedicated, generous, and hands-on. And I can tell you personally that I appreciate having Bill and all that you've delivered for this organization. Thank you. And lastly, Giovanni DiMaggio. Oh, he's out sick. It's unfortunate. Well, Giovanni was instrumental in protecting one of his employees who was one of his co-workers who were assaulted. You know, at Transit, we take that personally. We're all together in this. And so when an employee, a fellow co-worker gets assaulted, it is work like Giovanni's, his actions, and sticking up for his fellow employee, which is what we want to always consider as fellow employees in New York City Transit. And that will conclude our Transit All-Stars.
Great. Thank you, Demetrius, and congratulations to all the Transit All-Stars. You make the system run even better. Thank you very much. So I think we've asked all the questions in between everyone's presentation, right? Do we have any other questions? Oh, I should welcome our new board member, Jim O'Donnell, who represents Orange County. Welcome, Jim, and I apologize for not acknowledging you sooner, but thank you and welcome to this wonderful world of the MTA. Chief Collada, you ready? Yeah. All right, good. Start us off.
Good morning. You have before you the crime figures for the month of May, which show the subway system saw 187 crimes. That reflects a 5.1 reduction, or 10 less incidents when compared to May of 2024. When looking at the year as a whole, from January through the end of May, the subway system saw 871 crimes, when compared to 906 crimes from the same period last year. This year's figures reflect a 3.9 reduction, or a decrease of 35 incidents. The reductions you're seeing is due to the hard work of the men and women, not just in the Transit Bureau. That's the entire NYPD is pitching into this safety. Riders rightfully deserve a subway journey where they are not confronted with lawlessness or disorder. And our transit cops have been hard work addressing all manner of unlawful conduct. Officers have made over 14,000 arrests this year alone. This reflects a 67% increase, or over 5,700 more arrests when compared to 2024. It's worth pointing out that a notable part of this strategy is enforcing transit rule violations. The types of offenses that are highly visible and truly impact the quality of life of a rider's journey and the perception of safety. Switching gears for a moment to what President Critchlow talked about earlier. A week ago, transit officers, EMS, fire, and MTA workers responded to a stretcher track along the 5 line of the Bronx and found a 14-year-old teenage boy critically injured. We believe he was subway surfing. As the school year ends, I just want to make a plea, and this is a plea to parents. Please know what your children are doing. The average age of a subway surfer is 14 years old. That's a number that scares me as a father, and it makes me very worried for the summer. Now, to that end, what are we doing? And I think this is an important piece of it. Every day we fly drones during the school week, before school, after school, and in the rain. It doesn't matter. And each week we're catching multiple subway surfers. And what really is an upsetting number to this is that a lot of them are repeat offenders. They're not the first time we've seen these individuals. Now, we take a multi-leveled approach to this. It's not just taking the individual into custody. It's meeting with the parents. It's working closely with family court. It's getting the proper messaging out. We go to the schools and visit the schools. We've touched thousands of parents at PTA meetings. We've touched thousands of students along those lines where we see the problem. So we want to make sure that we plug the parents into this, because I think they're a real key component to the subway surfing. As a father, it breaks my heart. And if you see the injuries, they're life-altering, they're life-changing. These juveniles will never be the same from these injuries if they do survive them. So it's imperative that parents take a deep look at what your children, if they're riding the subway system, look at their social media, look at their phones, know what they're doing. In light of international developments, we've been working very closely with Chief Kemper and his team. We are definitely at a heightened level of alert. when it comes to what's going on, looking at the international developments. Right now, there's no credible threats to New York City subway system or New York City at this particular time. We get updates on a very regular basis from our liaisons overseas. So if anything changes or that becomes, we see something immediately, we're going to come right to our partners, right to Chief Kemper, and we'll make sure we get these, the information out. But as of now, there are no credible threats, and we're monitoring it every day. And like I said, we have multiple posts out there from both the transit end of it and from the NYPD to make sure we keep the subway system safe. When it comes to the excessive heat, I just want to thank President Critchlow and his team. We're looking at every contingency that might happen. Every time we've had to ask or wondered about something, there was immediate responses. Gabby and Joe Nugent, just great liaisons, and I know you were directly involved, and we're very comfortable with the heat wave coming in, that if we do see disruptions or we'll be able to keep our districts up and running and keep everybody safe. And one last point to the subway surfing is it's the importance of it. It's the messaging. The messaging that went out was excellent. I heard it as I was on the train the other day. I saw it out there. It's really fantastic to get that positive outreach. And later on this afternoon, I'll have another group of high school students into 130 Livingston to talk about subway surfing, because I want to hear from their perspectives and how they see it, and then what we could do to try to change the culture. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief Collada? If not, okay, we move on. Okay, we're turning it over to Rich Hyduke for this month's special presentation on the Queens Bus Network redesign implementation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
After 6 years of planning, 4 plan iterations, and over 250 outreach events, I'm here to talk about the implementation of Queens Bus Network redesign. Years of planning, outreach, preparation have come together to bring us to this point. We have prepared materials and tools to educate the public and are in the process of making necessary changes to ensure that this new network can be successful. The first phase of implementation is just days away, on June 29th. To reach as many customers as possible before the first day of service, a public education and outreach campaign began immediately following MTA board approval in January. Since then, we have offered briefings to every elected official and community board in Queens, as well as the borough president's community civic engagement committee. To further reach riders, we hosted 23 pop-up events at key locations concurrently with our traffic checking team distributing tens of thousands of brochures over the course of 1,200 field shifts. Over 250 hard copy of the final plan were delivered to Queens libraries, senior centers, community boards, and elected officials. But all this education and outreach is only part of what the team of planners have been up to. To prepare for implementation, the team spent time testing every new turn and analyzing bus stops with partners in the Department of Buses and City DOT. The team created thousands of tracking numbers to submit to DOT to organize bus stop adjustments. With these tracking sheets, DOT began changes to bus stops back in February, starting with changes that would have the least impact on operations and limit potential issues to riders. In time for June 29th, over 1,600 bus stops will have been installed or had adjustments made. By the end of both phases of implementation, over 3,300 bus stops would have had adjustments added, removed as a part of this project. This includes over 10,000 unique adjustments to these poles, like adjusting route panels, location panels, route types, and destinations. This has required months of coordination with our partners in City DOT and weekly meetings to ensure accuracy and timeliness. To help the public navigate these bus stop changes, the team developed guide-a-ride inserts, seen here in yellow and black, that contain specific information for the changes that are occurring at that specific bus stop. By the time this project is fully implemented, the team will have developed and worked in coordination with the guide-a-ride installation team to install over 7,500 unique inserts at bus stops throughout Queens. Bus riders will not be alone as they try to navigate this new network either. We have worked to develop a comprehensive customer ambassador program that will occur 2 weeks prior to and 2 weeks after each phase's launch date. For Phase 1, we have divided Queens into 3 zones, which contains 140 unique locations. These locations will see rotations of customer ambassadors, which are led by a shift captain. MTA employees across New York City Transit and other MTA agencies, along with our partners in New York City DOT, will help staff these locations. Additional locations and zones are in development for Phase 2 as well. To help increase awareness for this project and to help the customer ambassadors educate riders, the team worked with MTA's marketing department to develop many different products. Posters were created and installed at on buses and shown on digital displays at key subway stations and on bus digital displays. Informational brochures detailing the project phases and key transition dates were printed in 5 languages and distributed throughout Queens. As stated before, thousands of unique guide-a-ride inserts were created and installed at bus stops. 17 corridor and neighborhood brochures and a unique brochure for express buses are currently being handed out to riders in Queens. All materials, as you can see in the image on the slide here, contain a unique QR code that will take you directly to the project's webpage. Simply take out your phone, open your camera, and point the QR code to connect via the link. Once you get to the webpage, you will see the route lookup tool. This will be the easiest way for people to understand the impacts to their specific route. Simply type in the route that you would like to know more details about, and you will see the changes that are occurring and potential service alternatives that you can take instead. It will also provide a list of specific changes that are occurring to the route's bus stops. So this is the perfect resource to learn what bus stops may be removed due to changes in routing or as an effort to speed up buses via consolidations. In addition to the route lookup tool, you can see the future trip planner at futuretrips.mta.info to learn how to navigate the new network after June 29th and August 31st. This is the perfect way to learn how your commute may change on this new network. Once June 29th comes around, the best way to learn how to use the interim Phase 1 network is to use the MTA app or bus time. We also developed a printable, color-coded project phasing guide on the website to help people understand when bus routes may see changes and occur. You can simply go to the website, download this, and print it. As always, you can continue to use the MTA app, Bus Time, go to the website, or contact 511 to find out more information. And just a quick reminder, Phase 2 is August 31st.
Great. Thank you, Rich, for that detailed presentation. Any questions? Midori? Yes, and Andrew.
Hi, thank you so much. Can you just describe a little bit of, you talked about outreach. Of course, Demetrius talked about elevators. We really care about how our disability community engages with our system. What kind of outreach has been done there?
So we've gone to all of the community boards, and we've had government and community relations reach out to various groups to interact with them, and they've also sent letters to the various groups like schools and our special partners to ensure that they're ready and prepared.
Andrew?
On the guide-a-ride inserts that you mentioned, is there a distinction between the June 29th and the August 31st changes? I mean, will riders be able to understand that immediately?
There is. So we first started installing the guide-a-ride inserts for the Phase 1 ones. That would say effective June 29th. And then we're in the process of developing and printing and then installing the Phase 2 ones, which will say August 31st. Again, there are thousands of these, so it takes quite a long time to develop and install. And because they're unique to that stop, it also requires a very strict attention to detail as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great, thank you. Since we don't have a quorum, Lou will walk us through the one procurement we have, and then we'll take action later on. Lou?
Okay, thank you. The New York City Transit procurement package this month includes one item. The item is a request for the board to formally ratify the declaration of an immediate operating need and the award of a 2-year emergency repair service contract on R251 Vacuum Train 4 to the original manufacturer, the NEU International Railway Company. R251 vacuum train, crucial to New York City Transit's track cleaning initiatives, consists of 3 cars, 1 center car, 2 filter cars, all pulled by a locomotive. In June 2022, vacuum train 4, filter car 2, was damaged by a fire that resulted in the need to replace the inner workings of the car. The damaged car was bypassed, and VT4 has since been operating at a reduced capacity. The repair of VT4 includes the fabrication and installation of a new complete filter car module, its wiring, and operating software. As the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer of the R251 vacuum trains, retaining this company, NEU, is required to furnish and install new equipment to repair and return VT4 to a state of good repair. NEU has the experience, technical capability, and resources to perform the work required. The total not-to-exceed amount for this contract is $1.7 million, which procurement, with support from MTA Audit, has found fair and reasonable. This price includes $1.04 million in materials and $621,000 in labor, engineering, freight, and all other costs and expenses required to complete the work. We submit this, Heda. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lou. No other business. We don't need a motion to adjourn. We're going to just adjourn and move on to finance. Thank you, everyone. Oh, wait a minute. We need a photographer so we can take a picture with, you got it? Great, with our Transit All-Stars. Majority board members who want to take, please join. Thank you, everyone.